Hi, I'm Corey Hanna and I'm here today in Derry City chatting to local people about their opinions on the city itself. So can you tell me, what do you like about the city?
I like everything about Derry. This is where I was born, this is where I grew up, and there's always so much on and so much buzz about it, and the people of Derry are so nice. Like if you're walking down the street, somebody will say hello. It's just a nice place to be.
That's lovely, thank you. And if there was anything you could change about the city, what would you want to change?
Well, there's still a divide in religion between Derry, but I think more as the years go on, it's becoming less and less a problem, and we're just starting to get along better, and I think that's all, but it's good.
So is there anything that the council could do to improve the lives of the people in the city?
I think the council could put in more things for young people, like under 18s, because if it was like a bad day, there's not much for people to do here. Or there's a bowling alley, but that's all. Like if there was skate parks or like ice rinks or like something interesting for us to do, that would be probably better.
So Tegan, would you feel safe walking around the city at night? And if not, what do you think we could do about it?
No, I think I would feel safe walking home at night. I live in the city centre, so there's always loads of stuff going on, and no, I would. I think it's quite a safe place. And some places, like the lampposts, are kind of dark and it gets kind of like eerie, but it's not scary. I don't get scared. I think it's a nice place to be at night time. It's really lit up and beautiful.
Fantastic, that's lovely to hear. So it's been suggested that a lot of new signs should be erected around the city welcoming people into the city. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it would be nice for tourists and nice to look at, but I don't know if it would like benefit the city. Like if you're going to put loads of money into it, I think you would be better putting money towards things that everyone could use and things that would be like venues, like I was saying, for young people. If you were going to put money into something, you could use it for something that would be more useful.
So Tegan, do you think a new news programme that asks everyday people for their views on current topics would be a good idea?
I think it would be a really good idea, so you could get like insight from just normal people in Derry. Do you know what they think of what's going on and what they think would be good for the city? I think that would be a really, really good idea.
Do you think it would be controversial at all?
I'd say some topics, but I think that's what would be good about it. You would get to hear everybody's different opinions on what was going to happen or what they think should happen in Derry. I think it would be great.
And do you think we should have all kind of ages, or should we limit it to just adults, or would you prefer more youths on the TV?
I think it should be a mixture of both, so you can see the two sides of older people and younger people and what the different matters they think matter most.
So Tegan, thank you so much for answering those questions. I was just wondering if you'd like to hang about and we could interview some more people with me.
Of course, I would love to see all the different views.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, sorry, excuse me. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions for City Voices? It's City Voices by Black North Productions, so it's just asking you a few opinions on current affairs. Okay, happy days. So my first question here is, do you think a new news programme that asks everyday people for their views on current topics is a good idea?
Well, certainly I think it would be a fantastic idea where you would be actually getting the people to be giving their views of what they think changes could be made, what's working, what's not working in the city, and it would be a great output as well for the young people they have a say.
I agree, I think it would be brilliant. Do you think the government handled the pandemic properly, or could they have saved people's lives by handling it more efficiently?
Definitely got it wrong in the early days. Should have locked down a lot quicker. We should have had an all-island approach as opposed to an approach one for here and one for the 26 counties. So I would definitely say the government will slowly act there and at the cost of lives.
And what are your thoughts on a united Ireland?
Thoughts on United Ireland, I think it's an inevitability and it's going to happen. And I think it has to be a new Ireland, it has to be an encouraged Ireland, and we have to get everybody on board for it. But it's a positive way forward and it's a way that the whole of Europe's going.
Thank you. And what do you think of the Assembly's High Street voucher scheme? And do you think that 16-year-olds should have been free to get the voucher too?
Well, it's a tough one to call. I think it's a lot of money. It's going to be going out, and at the end of the day we're going to pay for it. And if we're going to pay for it, it's not going to be me, it'll be paying for it at my ages, it'll be the younger people. So yes, the 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds should get the voucher, and I think it should be mandatory as well that it's spent in local and not in the major chains.
Thank you. Do you think local GPs are using the pandemic as an excuse not to see their patients?
Yes.
Do you think integrated education is the best way forward for shared education in Northern Ireland?
Well, I think that integrated education is a place here, but I also understand that some of the churches, schools as well should be here, but the best way forward for us to integrate as a community is definitely at the start of education. I think now the new deal that they have here is helping that, and the young people now are not as divisive as that they were growing up in the 70s and around that. But yes, integrated education, a way forward, but there has to be an option.
Thank you. Would you like to take this opportunity to raise any issues that you think are viable for the city?
I think I have to deal with the traffic in the city, and when I say that I mean on around the city centre. I think that we're a small enough city centre, we should be pedestrianised, and we should be definitely encouraging on-street trading. We should be encouraging the cafe culture that you see across all major European cities. We have a fantastic walled city. It should be getting displayed. It's not getting displayed by buses, lorries and cars driving through it. And I think the major issue in this city to be addressed, I think, would be the traffic situation. Now, we could go on to health things about the city, but you'd be here all day.
Thank you. And what is your favourite things about the city?
It's people. I think the people at Derry is brilliant. If there's ever an emergency call out for people at Derry, they're out in their droves. They're brilliant at getting charity things up and going. They're great at supporting each other, and we're great at selling our city.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, and thank you for answering all those questions.
Thank you.
So Tegan, thank you so much for answering those questions. I was just wondering if you'd like to hang about and we could interview some more people with me.
Of course, I would love to see all the different views.
Yeah, 100%. Excuse me, would you mind if I ask you some questions about the city?
No, I don't mind.
Happy days, thank you. So can I ask just what's your favourite thing about the city?
I think it's the people of the city is the best part of the city. They're so friendly and so welcoming. Like, I'm not from here. I'm a Dub, and I'm here 30 years now, and I wouldn't live anywhere else.
And do you agree?
Oh, completely, yeah. Friendliest city in the country. No doubt about it.
Thank you. And if there was anything you could change about the city, what would it be?
I think the river, to me, is so underutilised.
Yeah.
It's a shame. There's an opportunity there to have positive memories and positive things happen on the river instead of the sad things that are happening on the river. I think the boathouse down at Brienne, it's a disgrace that it's sitting in the shape it's in. It should look.
Yeah, it could
It's
be
such a
used.
resource. It's such a fantastic resource. It should be used.
To look at other cities, like
Yeah.
from around the world, and use whatever model they're using with their rivers,
100%.
where you see a lot more traffic on the river and
A lot more going on.
things like water taxis, that sort of
Water
thing.
taxis, even a boardwalk along the river, something just to bring the river into the city, because it's a natural resource we have, 100%. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Is there anything that the City Council could do to improve the lives of the people who live here?
City Council.
The council, I think, are pretty proactive here, aren't they?
Yeah.
And that it probably is. Just thinking offhand.
Like, in fairness, the streets are clean. And I'm just thinking the flowers are out. You know, it is a pretty enough city. They've done a lot with it. They've put a lot of effort into it, I think. Yeah.
Maybe bring in the opinions, maybe, of other cultures who are now settled here and that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe try and include, their opinions. The council could maybe work a bit more on that.
Yeah, thank you. Would you feel safe walking around the city late at night if you were alone? And if not, what do you think could be done about it?
Right. There's some of the areas in the city I have no issue, no problem with walking around. I don't actually go out. We don't really go out at night time and walk around on our own. We normally get a taxi where we're going, a taxi back.
We get a lift.
Or a lift, yeah. Probably I would be conscious of certain areas that you wouldn't go to at night time. I don't know whether more support from locals, maybe making the place safer, would be better. I think there's probably a resistance to the police service and that when it comes to the local areas, so we need to be kind of aware of that as well. But no, I wouldn't have a good answer. I don't know, would you? What do you think of it?
Well, you've no real problem when you've got a dog.
A big hound.
Thank you. So it's been suggested that a lot of new signs should be erected around the city, welcoming people to the city. Do you think that would be a good idea?
Hey, signs, yes. Signs saying, watch the dog. No, signs saying,
Good girl.
welcome, probably, I think, in different languages and different cultures. Fáilte, everybody here knows what fáilte is, and everybody knows this fair fé as well. I don't think that's worth putting up, but if you were, say, if you were Dutch or something, or you were Chinese, and you saw "Welcome to Derry" in your language, and you came here, you go, "Oh wow!" I think there's an opportunity for different languages, maybe in different areas, different times. But yeah.
Be more inclusive.
Yeah, more inclusive. Yeah.
So, do you think a new news programme that asks everyday people for their views on current topics would be a good idea?
I do think I think there's a void at the minute with no pubs and no interaction with people, and I don't know how we're going to refill that void. I don't think people are going to go back to pubs. So maybe a news channel, a local news channel, like, what does they say? 2 heads are better than one, and 100 heads are so much better than none. For me, if we could have more, even just if somebody gives you an opinion on something, you hear it, you go, well, that's a different slant on it. Yeah, I think it would open up a lot more. Yeah, definitely. No, I would agree with that. Yeah, local news channel. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for all your lovely answers. That's been fantastic. Thank you so much. So, girls, where are you from?
We're from Sligo.
And what has you in Derry?
Donkeys. Whistling donkeys. We all watched Derry Girls. We wanted to come up for the weekend. Yeah,
And can I ask you, what is it you like about Derry?
it's unreal.
It's got a nice bridge.
Yeah. There's no COVID up here. The pubs are open longer.
People are lovely.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I don't know. It's class. It's unreal. It has a lot of nice heritage. It's a nice city. It's nice to look at.
Thank you very much, girls. I hope you have a great night, and thank you so much for answering my questions. Where do we find it? Excuse me, guys. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the city?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Would you feel safe walking around the city centre late at night? And if not, what do you think we could do about it?
Well, personally, I would, because I'm a man now. For women, I don't think so. Certainly street lighting, maybe more wardens on the street. I know it's a bit issue with police in our streets, but certainly more of a police presence might help.
Perfect, thank you. And it's been suggested that a lot of new signs should be erected around the city welcoming people to the city. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think it's a great idea, due to the fact that the tourist is picking up here. As a local driver, I actually see some of the signs. They're very poor nick. They need painted, they need lit up, maybe a larger size as well. And taking into consideration too, people with visually impairment that walk around here. Absolutely, there's trees growing over signs. They need washed, repainted, and even signs on the footpaths as well, for the same reason.
Thank you, it's a great answer. So do you think that a new news programme that asks people, everyday people, for their views on current topics would be a good idea?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea. I mean, with a lockdown, people would appreciate it then. Obviously, it wasn't possible. But now, I mean, with different things happening, different days, different laws, different things getting brought in, different places closed, our places opened, wouldn't it be good to have somebody local being able to give it to us local rather than Stormont or London giving it to us? I think that would be quite a good idea.
Perfect, thank you. And do you agree?
Absolutely, I second what Eddie says.
Perfect, thank you. So, do you think that the government handled the pandemic properly, or could they have saved people's lives by handling it more efficiently?
Well, nobody knew it was coming. It definitely was a dark cloud worldwide. I mean, it's easy to sit at home and suggest they should have done this, they should have done that. Me personally, I wouldn't want that weight on my shoulders to make them kind of decisions. But what I do agree on is listen to the experts, the people that went to school to read up about this, that know what they're talking about. Not a backbench politician. I mean, he's reading stuff that off the internet. He's reading stuff that quotes from other people, where the experts know. I think we should listen to the medical experts on the pandemic.
So, what do you like about the city?
The people, I think, is the most important thing about the city. You know, not so much the buildings and whatnot, they have them in every city, but definitely the people and how warm they are, you know. And apart from the setting we have today, just look around you, the river foil and whatnot, you know what I mean, you couldn't beat it. You know, what do you think?
Well, I actually love the layout of the city and the kind of history. You're steeped in history as you're walking around, and I love the pedestrianised zones and stuff like that, and the atmosphere and the vibe and that kind of thing. I love it.
If there was anything you could change about the city, what would it be?
Well, for me anyway, I would like to see more interactive kind of big activities for like older children, 10 to 15-year-olds. Something more like you've got loads of stuff for the wee kids, but something for the bigger kids would be. I'd like to see that.
Well, I think we have enough hotels. I think it's about time now we had a couple of campsites and whatnot. They bring people that really want to come here and stay, because there's nothing like that around here. You have to travel on the other side of the border. But definitely campsites would be, what I would like to see.
Is there anything that the City Council could do to improve the lives of the people who live here?
To improve the lives of people?
Big suicide intervention and that kind of thing could be definitely, like, it's a definite. It's huge. It's terrifying when you have young children too. I have an 11-year-old boy, and it's just such a worry as they're growing up in the city, that there's so much of it around, and it seems to just be, it's just like normalised instead of, there needs to be like great action taken against it, I think.
I think an accident and emergency centre here on this side of the foil definitely is needed, instead of traffic and whatnot now, because it's getting more busy and whatnot. Ambulances try to cross from Alton to Galvin. I think it's time we need something here on this side.
Okay, thank you. Do you think integrated education is the best way forward for shared education in Northern Ireland?
Yes, definitely. That's the way to go. When you make a difference in children, well, that's wrong. They all should be together, and that'll carry on through life. That's what I think.
I totally agree. I think definitely integration is the way forward. Absolutely, just breaks down barriers, and we're all here together. We should all just be use it as a positive rather than anything negative. And children nowadays who just they just want to get on and enjoy their lives and that kind of thing. Just move forward, definitely.
I agree myself. Is there any important issues that you'd like to raise at this time?
Not overly. I think Derry has come such a long way. The Peace Bridge is absolutely amazing. It's opened up the whole city. Love the hustle and bustle, especially tonight, like the concert on and stuff like that. There's just a real buzz in the city. So I think if it just keeps going the way it's going, it's kind of like it's getting better.
Oh, it's definitely getting better.
Perfect, guys. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for answering those questions. I hope you have a great night.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions about the city?
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So I just want to know, what's your favourite thing about the city?
For me, I think it's the people themselves, and it's the sense of fun and music and I think the friendliness. And when you walk around, people smile and laugh and wave at you. People you don't even know, like tonight. I think it's the people that would always bring me back here, and the way that people kind of live their lives. I just think it's the crack. It's the crack.
That's a great answer, thank you. And what about yourself?
Yes, I like the city very, very much. The people are very friendly, but what I like about the city the most is that every place has a history, but the people of Derry always take pride of their history and know how to celebrate it.
And what would you change about the city if you could?
Oh my goodness. What I'd love to see in this city, more hope for young people, So many talented young people have to leave here because they can't find work. And I'd love to find ways that would give them some hope that they can get an apprenticeship, get a trade, get a job, and make this a better place. Because a lot of people do, I think they have to go away, and sometimes they come back and sometimes they don't. And we lose a lot of really talented young people. I think also, I think it's absolutely scary, the number of young people, particularly young men, who lose their lives on that river. And we definitely need to help these people to try to lift them out of whatever it is that's bothering them. And the incidence, I think, as well, of alcohol abuse and drug abuse is really, really so high. So for me, it's for young people to give them some sense of something to look forward to, and something that's going to help them make something of their lives. That's me.
Thank you. And what about yourself?
Myself, I would say accessibility to the city, and being able to leave it in a safe manner. Transport doesn't always be on at the latest times at night, and I feel that people like to come out to the city at night and socialise, and I feel that the city needs particularly transport at late at night to allow people to be able to get to their home safely.
Do you think integrated education is the best way forward for shared education here in Northern Ireland?
I honestly think it's the only way forward for our society. You can still be a person of faith, you can still be brought up in a faith household, but still have integrated education. I think the more we learn about how each other lives and their choices about religion, things they believe in, the more we're going to get a more comprehensive society. That understanding is fundamental. When I was 15, I went to college here in Derry. And that was the first time in my life I ever mixed with young people who were from another religion. And to me that was quite striking. Now that I say it, and times like this, it's quite striking. And I really feel that is the only way forward. That's the way we should be planning education for the future.
What are your thoughts on a united Ireland?
I can see the reasons for and I can see the reasons against. And I think it certainly should be thought out more logistically than one side saying one thing and the other side saying another. I think personally myself, I would support a united Ireland, but at the same time I can understand hesitation of others that wouldn't support a united Ireland.
And one more question, is there anything important that you would like to raise at the minute?
I think just the point that I raised earlier, personally I feel very strongly about it, partly as well because I witnessed a young girl throw herself into the river literally just a few weeks ago, and it really kind of brought it home to me that this young girl had very polished, beautiful nails. She had marks up her arm where she'd been self-harming, and that just brought it home to me that young people definitely need some help and support to try to feel that they've got a place in society that they're happy with. So to me, it's helping them. Yeah.
Myself, again, a lot of what my friend here said. Suicide is something that's close to a lot of people, more so than what we would think. Unfortunately, I know too many very, very good people that have died through suicide, and we need to invest money in the system to support people who have suicidal thoughts or suffering from mental health disorders or depression. And I think we have to sort of be able to break the taboo around the subject.
Well guys, thank you so much for your time and thank you for answering all those questions.
No problem. Thank you.
So what do you like about the city?
I really love how everything's really accessible in the city and how there's like a great buzz around and how there's always something going on. Like at Halloween, there's a great festival at Halloween with the fireworks and the parade, and like this city was voted the best in the world for Halloween, above places like Transylvania and stuff like that. It's awesome, and there's loads of shows and stuff going on, and we celebrate St. Paddy's Day amazingly, and we celebrate almost everything.
What would you change about it? Hiya. So what would you change about the city if you could?
Probably the amount of abandoned buildings around everywhere, really, in the city centre. There's random abandoned buildings that should have something going on in them. Like, you could make them into bars. Like, we don't have a comedy club in the city centre. We could get one of those and we could start doing loads of comedy. You could do anything with all these buildings that just have nothing going on in them, and you could have amazing stuff happening in those buildings. And I feel like if we had better transport into the city as well, like the train could have extra stops to get more people to come into the city, because there's huge spaces where you could have loads of stops to get people on the train to come in instead of having to take an hour's bus ride into the city.
And do you think a new news programme that asks everyday people for their views on current topics would be a good idea?
Definitely, that would be class, because then we'd get to hear everyone's side of what they think about everything that's going on. It'd be awesome to do that. That would be great.
Sin muide cardia Cretan Jesus and Shaw Liz City Voices on Culture Night in Derry. Chief Miship Erin Kate Agranella Slan.